everyone. Welcome to Walk to Serenity's Young Mind Clinic. Every month, we bring to you a new topic related to children's mental health. Today's episode will be on kindness and self-compassion. My name is Farin Khan, and I am the founder of One Circle, and I'm a mental health practitioner. So without wasting any time, let's get right to it. What is kindness? Kindness is defined as the quality of being friendly, generous, and considerate. But kindness in reality is a lot more than just empathy. Being kind is an intentional act that benefits others for its own sake when one is not required to do so. It is generally regarded as a virtue. A kind person shows a genuine, deep, and selfless concern for people without expecting anything in return. So, why is it important to teach children about kindness? Well, first of all, to make the world a better place. In a world where people are increasingly more divided than ever, being kind whenever possible can help make the world a much better place. Secondly, peace and harmony. Doing kind things is not only the foundation of a decent society, but is also an important antidote to violence. It contributes to tolerance and peace in the world. Thirdly, contributes to happiness. Kindness is beneficial to both the recipient and the actor. Whether it is supporting others emotionally on a bad day, helping them with chores, or including others, random acts of kindness makes us feel good about ourselves. Doing good deeds can be personally rewarding in addition to reducing social ills. Last but not least, improved child development. Child kindness is particularly beneficial. Caring acts significantly improves children's personal skills and their relationships with others. Research has shown that kind children showed significant improvement in social skills, as evidenced by an increase in peer acceptance. Being considerate to others is also correlated with academic achievement. So, how can we teach kindness to children? First of all, a home environment should be filled with kindness. Teaching children emotional regulation is also important if you want to teach children kindness. Read and discuss literature regarding kindness with your child. Teach the spirit of kindness. And practice and form considerate habits yourself. And talk about empathy regularly with your child. Next, moving on to self-compassion. So what is self-compassion? Self-compassion is having compassion for yourself when you're having a difficult time, when you fail or notice something that you don't like about yourself, just as you would see someone else suffering. We all know that life sometimes can be really hard. As children go through life, they will fall short. Kids will sometimes be unkind to them. They'll face disappointments, challenges, and setbacks. And we want them to have a friend, a strong and tender friend that is always on their side. To have self-compassion means to treat yourself as you would treat a dear friend. Think about your most ideal friend. What would they be like? They would be there for you when you fell short. They would give you a hug. They would say, "I'm sorry that happened." They would encourage you to pursue your dreams to be the best version of yourself. They might not always tell you what you wanted to hear, but they'll tell you what you needed to hear to grow, to feel supported and unconditionally accepted and loved. That's what having self-compassion means, and that's what we want to give to our kids. So what are the three main elements of self-compassion? The first element is mindfulness, which simply means that we're able to acknowledge when we are having a difficult moment. How often in daily life do we either zoom past our difficult moments or catastrophize our difficult moments without really noticing that we're struggling? The mindfulness component of self-compassion helps us to see our struggle for what it is and paves the way for meeting our struggle with kindness. The second component of self-compassion is common humanity. Oftentimes, when we struggle, we tell ourselves the story that we shouldn't be struggling, or that if we did everything right, this wouldn't have happened. The truth is that experiencing adversity and difficult emotions is a part of everyone. And it is a lot more self compassionate when we are able to tell ourselves that other human beings might feel like we do in certain situations too. And that we are not alone in having these struggles, imperfections, and setbacks. And the last component of self compassion is self kindness. We already talked about kindness today, but self kindness can show up in so many different ways. We might give ourselves a loving touch, a hug. We might decide that we need a resource and call a friend or go for a walk. We could give ourselves kind and tender words like, "I'm so sorry that this is happening, but it's going to be okay." Or we might offer ourselves encouragement, reminding ourselves that we can do hard things and persevere in the face of challenges. So this brings us to the last part of our episode. So how do children learn self-compassion? The answer to this question begins with the grown-ups in the children's lives. First and foremost, how do the adults in children's lives treat them? And secondly, what are the adults in their life modeling? When a child grows up with a caregiver who nurtures them when things go wrong and can lovingly help them to see the ways that they need to grow, this child is much more likely to develop an internal voice of self-compassion. When a child has a caregiver that understands them and is consistently on their team, children receive the foundation for attuning to and encouraging themselves. Also, important for kids is having a caregiver that models self-compassion. Kids observe and internalize the ways that their parents and caregivers treat themselves when they fall short. If their grown-up says, "Wow, I fell short, this is really hard," and then models being kind to themselves, models learning from their experience without beating themselves up, this child is likely to grow up knowing the voice of self-compassion. So, receiving compassion, both tender and fierce, and having self-compassion modeled are two strong pathways to help kids develop a foundation of self-compassion. So today's episode on Young Mind Clinic was about kindness and self-compassion in children. As you could see, self-compassion can help children and caregivers cope effectively with adversity and experience more satisfaction in their lives. Do get in touch with us with questions, queries, and comments on kindness and self-compassion. I will end here today. See you in March. Bye.